We are live. Hi everyone, my name is Taylor. I'm here with Homestead. Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Jennifer Post. I'm CEO and creative director of Visual Vantage, and we offer home staging and interior design.
Thanks. So, how are you doing today? Thank you so much for doing this.
Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So, tell us about yourself. When did you become an interior designer, and how did you know the career choice was for you?
I would say I got my foot in the door with interior design when I first started doing home staging, and it was very spur of the moment. Met my realtor at the time, was selling a house and purchasing a home, and he saw how I decorated, and he was actually my first client. And since then, we have done well over 300 houses
Wow.
all across Long Island, parts of upstate, and even Connecticut. And it's just been growing ever since. And yeah,
So, how many years of experience do you have at this point?
professionally, I would say 5 years.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, but I've always dabbled with interiors. I never thought of making a business of it
Mm-hmm.
or doing it full time professionally. And
Yeah.
that was, yeah, about 4.5, 5 years ago that I realized this is it for me.
Yeah. What would you say is like your favorite aspect of interior design and decorating?
I think getting to know people and really knowing them and being able to apply that. I think there's the creative side of it. You know, that's the obvious. Being able to commit to ideas and execute them, but then there's the business side of it that I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not the money; it's just being able to connect with people and then being able to trust you and your ideas and being able to convey and convince because 90% of it is putting the ideas together and then or actually 10% and then 90% is just convincing them to just go with it and commit and make those decisions for them or help them to make those decisions.
Right. So let's talk about Visual Vantage a little bit. Where does the name come from? What kind of services do you offer, and how did that start?
Visual Vantage, actually, you'd think I was naming a baby. I had like 5,000 names. I was like obsessing over every name.
Mm-hmm.
But this one stuck because visual is how you are portrayed. And then vantage is like the perspective or in which that you are being seen. So
Right.
for me, it just made sense, and I just kind of ran with it. And it was like VV, and then the pineapple logo was actually like an inside joke
Really?
between my partner and I, Stella. And it followed us everywhere we went. So I just ran with that too. I designed the logo. I wanted like a modern pineapple. And
Yeah.
now we're like the pineapple girls,
So do you want to talk about on your website? I saw that there was like an e-design section, interiors, and real estate. Do you want to like kind of break that down for us?
Yeah, so e-design is all done remotely. So we're able to design for people all over the country. And that really, we've always offered that, but that really took off during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It was a way for us to stay in business, to stay busy. We were picking up projects in Texas, California, but basically the client would provide us their dimensions and we'd still plug them into a program and source everything, create mood boards, and then give them the overall e-design. They would do all the shopping. They would install themselves, but it basically allows us to give them like a blueprint and a plan that they can stick to.
Great. So break down your mission of Visual Vantage. I also saw on your website that you have style to sell, style for life. Is there anything you want to touch on?
Yeah, so staging is a big part of our business. It's kind of runs the back end of things and allows us to grow the interior part of the business. Our goal there, our mission with staging is to add charm and character to empty spaces and really tap into make a connection between the house and the home buyer, because otherwise it just falls short and there is no emotional connection. So we play on that. We play with scale, color. A lot of design is psychological. And staging is fun because it's like instant gratification. Like we have a plan, but it's a lot of it's improv, and we're bringing things in, and when it's done, it's like wow, it's day and night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then interior design, you know, we're taking what's inside someone's head and also applying like the basics of design, and then the rest is just imagination
Mm-hmm.
and creating balance and harmony within someone's home.
Right, absolutely. So let's get into your favorite spaces to design. So what would you say is your favorite space to design or decorate?
That's a tough one. I mean, I love designing kitchens and bathrooms. Decorating, I would say living rooms, just because that's a space where people spend most of their time.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite would probably have to be basements. I know that sounds awful,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like what the home's missing, you know? So now we can really let our imaginations run wild. It's like, you know, from sauna to a movie theater room to
Mhm.
karaoke. Like there's endless possibilities, and for me, that's really exciting and fun. And I think people are less closed about it because
Mhm.
you know it's like you're not living in that space. So a lot of the time, it's for entertainment or to keep kids occupied.
Yeah.
But we like doing like ceiling features, and
Mm-hmm.
we could get crazy. And then Airbnbs are really fun too because
Yeah.
same thing. We're like nobody's gonna tell us not to do this or that. We can
Yeah.
just
You have like free reign.
we
to-
have free reign. There's endless possibilities, and it's like whatever your heart desires kind of thing, and funny themes and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Airbnbs are fun, and sometimes we get to stay there
Oh,
for like a
cool.
few days. So yeah.
That's really
Be
neat.
cautious, you know, because we did one that was on a lake, and we were like out on the lake in the middle of the night. Our clients were like, "Do whatever you want." We're like, "Are you sure?"
That
it's fun.
is super cool because we actually just had a photo shoot at an Airbnb and everything was perfect. And
Yeah.
I guess it didn't dawn on me that a designer probably set all this up.
Yeah.
So it's super cool. And with basements, my house doesn't actually have a basement.
Mine neither,
I
so
wish
don't feel
it
that.
did.
I'm the shoemaker without shoes. No, I'm living, I'm living through my clients. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I would die to have a movie room. That would
Yeah.
be amazing. That's what
Yeah.
I would pick at least. So do you have a signature style that you gravitate toward when you design or decorate a space? I know that you grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, so has that influenced your personal style at all?
I would say yes. I mean, I grew up in a historical neighborhood in a very old house, a Victorian home that had so much potential and never fully lived out its potential. I think, just Atlanta is like a growing city, so it's always evolving and changing. And I think that has helped to influence me. I'm very open minded. I don't have a signature style per se. Personally, I'm like more eclectic. I like a collected look. I think it's more timeless, but I wouldn't say we have a signature. We're decorating for people of all kinds of backgrounds and tastes and aesthetics. So for me, that's the fun part, you know, bringing balance and bringing their taste and just making it make sense, because it has to make sense within the home too, because
Right.
not everything will work in every single house. But yeah, very, very eclectic, I think.
Okay. So this might be kind of hard to answer, but is the style in Georgia different from New York? Like, have you?
Well, it's been a while since I've been in Georgia, but I would say modern farmhouse is still pretty much relevant everywhere.
Yeah.
Maybe some more like modern classic, but honestly, I don't really know. But I would love to decorate for someone in Atlanta
Yeah.
to see. Yeah, I think Long Island is a mixture too. It's like a melting pot. So a lot of coastal. We don't have that in Atlanta. I think we don't we don't have a beach.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, Long Island coastal, modern farmhouse. I feel like that's pretty much the norm. But then we do have projects that are, you know, crazy and out there and more modern.
Yeah.
Or yeah.
I've only been to Georgia once, and I guess if I had to guess, I would say it's like farmhouse.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, I do
Oh.
like some farmhouse, but you know, try to stray away from doing a style that's just like so far in one direction that it
Right.
could be categorized.
Mhm.
So sometimes we'll implement some farmhouse decor, you know, like Scandinavian, European farmhouse is really
Right.
interesting. Where there's some rustic
Mhm.
because it just takes balance. You know, too much of anything
Yeah,
is a bad thing.
absolutely. So, what drives your design decisions? Like, where do you draw inspiration from?
Well,
I know that's probably really tough.
that is tough. I mean, there is a storm of ideas going on in my head at all times, and
Mhm.
I think, um, you know, once you know the right questions to ask people when you first consult with them, which is where we start, then you can get a feel for what people really want. And we
Mhm.
do a survey too to ask them basic questions about color. How do you want your room to feel? Which goes back to our motto, our slogan, which is it's not just a look, it's a feeling. People's spaces and their homes are tightly interconnected, and it's like you can't live your best life in a cluttered space, you know? But yeah.
So, what have been some of your favorite interior design trends that you've seen, or what have been some that you're just like, no, I'm not doing that?
That's another tough one. Trends come and go. It's just like fashion in a sense. So I don't really follow trends, but staying relevant in design is important. You know, what is what's relevant in today's time, and then what can outlast a trend.
Mhm.
What would still be relevant in 10 years, I think, and you know, hiring a designer, doing renovations and decorating is an investment, and it should be something that people are comfortable with 10, 15 years.
Mhm.
You know, you don't want to be like, oh, that wallpaper is from the 70s,
Right.
you know, but I think trends are okay most of the time if they're implemented correctly, you know. And then some trends I dislike, I think word art and things like that, and like kitschy stuff.
Yeah.
Just because to me it's just clutter. It's words aren't always necessary on the wall. I think.
We're talking
don't
to the
know.
live, laugh,
I
love
feel
people
bad
out there.
because there are some, you know, there are, and some of my clients, bless their
Yeah.
hearts, they're like all about, you know, and I guess if it makes them happy, you know, I'm not going to tell anyone no. I'm going
Yeah.
to say, how can we make it work? How can we make it less cheesy? How can we
Right.
make it tasteful?
Mhm.
And yeah, that's my job.
Are you familiar with the Ray Dunn products? Like,
That's what I was having in my
That's
mind
what it
when
is?
I'm thinking of word art. You know, like a coffee mug that says coffee. I know what's
Yes.
in my coffee mug.
Do you know what's crazy? I actually love that stuff.
I'm
And
sorry.
know-
See,
no,
that's why I didn't
know.
want to go there.
I know that it's awful, but I don't know what it is about it. Like
Yeah.
on a spoon it says spoon, on a
Some
jar
people
it
find
says jar.
comfort, I think, in seeing those words, or like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's cute, but I totally understand people not liking that.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Actually, we have an interior design group that I posted that, and I was like, "Are you for or against this?" And it was pretty split, but like,
Yeah.
there's like strong opinions on both sides.
Really?
It was like very controversial.
yeah.
So what's something that you want people to know before they start their own home renovations?
I think having a plan first is always a good idea, or else it's like, where do you stop? You know, you need to know where do you want your final, where do you want to go with your renovations, and budget, you know, budget and planning, or hire a designer. Just kidding. Kind of. But if you don't have a plan, you don't have a budget, it could just be an endless thing. You know, design is essentially problem solving, and it's like a puzzle. And, you know, there's all these things that make up, you know, they're pieces of the puzzle. So where do you want your end? And you just have to plan around that, because there's a changing variable in design. And I think a lot of people don't have realistic expectations as well. I think they watch a lot of HGTV, and you know, poof, the room is like done, and it's not like that. I mean, things can change, things could go wrong. There's things you uncover, especially in construction. So to have like a realistic expectation of the time that it takes, the time frame, and you're dealing with people and schedules, so you
Yeah.
know it could be complicated. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of work, but at the end of the day, it's worth it. For
Oh, 100%. It's
Yeah.
always worth it, but it's a journey. We're getting to know our clients during renovations and construction, and we're getting to know them. It's a journey. It's amazing. We'll be friends at the end of it. I
Yeah.
like to consider all my clients like my good friends.
That's great.
Yeah.
So, coming from that, what does the process of working with you and Visual Vantage look like? Take us through a step-by-step process of the consultation and everything.
Oh, we'll be here all day. No, the consultation is first, seeing the space in person, meeting the client or the family that we're decorating or designing for, and hitting on those boxes and checking them off, like functionality, form, style, all of those things will get covered during the consultation. And then from there, and budget. And then from there, we're going to kind of come up with a game plan or a visual at least to present to them. And we'll give options and let them kind of lead. But narrowing it down, I think, is very important in that step.
Yeah.
So that people don't feel overwhelmed, you know, because we're organizing thoughts for them, we're organizing ideas. So it's our job to give them a presentation that they can understand, you know, and then after that, we're kind of sourcing things, product sourcing. We start online, we go in stores, and then after that, it's pretty much full speed ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what are your socials and how can people reach out to you if they would like to start working with you?
So Instagram is to date and current, and you'll see a lot of behind the scenes. You can find us at Visual Vantage on Instagram. Our website is visualvantageli.com.
Great. So I know that you've worked with Homestead Window Treatments before, specifically with Margie. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with us?
Yeah, so we like to work exclusively with Homestead, and they are very personable. And that's one thing that drew me to you guys is that you're not dealing with just salespeople. You're dealing with a family-owned business, so there's always an open line of communication. And Marguerite has been wonderful. She's actually an in-house designer, and with her, you just feel like she's giving you a perspective, and she has great taste. So it's never been like a conflict of interest. So I think that's one thing that Homestead can offer that other places will not. Yeah, she's awesome. Shout out to Marguerite.
So, is there anything else that you'd like to let anyone know about Visual Vantage or anything about yourself?
Well, I just want to say that, first of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
And yeah, look, design can be whatever you want it to be. Your home can be whatever you want it to be. So always keep in mind that you don't even have to go crazy to make a big difference or a change. You can just start small and go from there. But it is fun, it's exciting, and finding a designer that you click with is always ideal. You know, you have to trust them, and there has to be that trust. And aside from that, I think, yeah, you guys don't want to know any more about me anyway.
Well, thank you so much for doing this with us.
Yes,
this
thank
is
you,
great.
Taylor.
I hope that you guys reach out to Visual Vantage, whether it's staging or interior design, anything like that.
E-design, Airbnbs, whatever you need, we are here. We also do 3D renderings for pre-construction for realtors and builders so that they can list their homes or their properties before they're done being built. So look, whatever, we have our hand in everything interior and some exterior, so whatever they need.
I actually wanted to ask you, do you service all of Long Island, or where is like your...
Yeah, so we're out east all the way west. I mean, yeah, all across Long Island, and then parts of Connecticut. We do travel, we go upstate. We're all over the place. Whoever will have us, really.
Okay, great. So thank you again. This was so great. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
If you would like to watch this interview at a later date or send it to anybody to get to know Jen, We'll be uploading this on YouTube as well as Facebook. It'll be right here. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to see future interviews that we have with other designers. Like us on Facebook at Homestead Window Treatments in Huntington Station, and also follow us on Instagram at Homestead Windows. We're actually on Instagram too right now. Also, don't forget to join our Facebook group, I Love Interior Design Long Island. Win some prizes if you join. You're a new member.
I didn't get no, actually I did. I got a water bottle and something else.
We'll get you a hat.
Okay.
We'll get you a hat. It says Designer Babe on it.
I think I'm confident enough to rock that.
Absolutely.
Maybe.
Yeah, if you're an interior designer, please reach out to us. My name is Taylor Hoteling on Facebook. If you would like to DM me, and I'd love to have you as our featured designer. So thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.